All right, let's head to the phones. Joining us here on the program, Texas Tech Interim President John Opperman. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Chad. How are you doing?
Doing well. I appreciate you coming on today. Texas Tech has been in the news the last 24 hours or so because of campus carry. I guess the final proposals that have come out from the campus carry task force. Tell our listeners a little bit as far as the background on what went into the task force. We all know what happened with SB 11 at passing. Where did Texas Tech take it from there?
Well, Chad, a task force was appointed last fall and worked through the fall. It was a broad representation of campus, of faculty, staff, and students. They worked through the fall on working through the issues, the legal issues, implementation issues, and then began drafting some recommendations. Probably late December, early January is when the initial draft was done. And since that time, we've just been, I think the Attorney General's opinion that came out on SB 11 actually came out after the initial draft. So that obviously had some say about some of the issues, and it was important for the task force to revisit some of that. Plus, as we worked through more of the implementation issues, particularly as it applied to residence halls, that took some time. And then we were discussing these issues with other campuses around the state also, as everybody's trying to interpret certain issues, which were not always clear. So we finally got to a point where we were ready to go to the board with something and have those recommendations ready for that.
Where do we go from here? And now that the proposals have been released, is this the final product, or does it have to go somewhere else?
It's not the final product. The recommendations at this point go to the board as required by law. The law does not require the board to actually approve them, but it does require them to review them. And then they do have an opportunity to change the recommendations. But Senate Bill 11 stipulates that it requires a two-thirds vote of the board in order to make a change at this point. So they will review this. I think they're going to set a meeting sometime in mid to late April to review the recommendations. If they make changes to them, they will come back to me, and I'll probably reconvene the task force to look at that one more time. We are implementing these rules as an operating policy, so there's another process in place here because it's an operating policy that we'll go through. But if the board, once we get past the board, once they've reviewed it and we're ready to go with the recommendations, then the operating policy itself will probably be signed off sometime towards the end of May.
We're visiting with the Texas Tech Interim President John Opperman here on the Chad Hasty Show about campus carry over at Texas Tech University. We've seen over at some other campuses, most notably I think the University of Texas, where you've had one faculty member who has already said he's resigning, or maybe he already has. Have you heard from any faculty over at Texas Tech that have said, if guns are allowed in the classroom, I'm out of here, I'm leaving?
No, I've not. I mean, there are obviously faculty members concerned about this, and that there's different levels of concern among faculty, but not anyone who's threatened to leave based on it. And but based on the experience of other states where campus carry has been implemented, I would hope nobody would be making career decisions based on this, because in other states they tend to be non-events.
Well, and you just look at any time here in Texas that we have a new gun law, whether it was concealed carry, open carry, now campus carry, there seems to be a lot of concern and then nothing. This has been a popular topic here on this show. Of a lot of folks, and myself included, I don't understand why so many professors statewide, not just at Texas Tech, but statewide, are so concerned when we already have concealed carry at restaurants and at grocery stores and, at department stores. And everywhere you go, you could run into someone who is carrying and you just don't know. That's the point of concealed carry. You don't know. Do you have any idea why so many professors, when it comes to a college campus, are that much more worried about it?
Well, obviously there's been incidents on campus involving guns, but it turns out that there was an incident, I believe, at University of Mississippi where a college professor was shot in his office a few months ago, and it turns out that professor was a former faculty member at Texas Tech. So it was somebody that a lot of the faculty here knew. Obviously, that in that particular shooting, he was not shot by a CHL holder, so it's a different issue. But I think that those kinds of issues have raised some alarms, and I think they feel some faculty feel like oftentimes they have difficult discussions with students over grades and that sort of thing, and so there's some alarm there. But as you said, in other states, they tend to be non-events once you get past that first year of uncertainty. Do
you think that campus carry makes a campus more safe or less safe overall, or is it kind of, you have to be 21 years old, so it's not like you're going to have that many people, I think, carrying on campus. But
that's right.
Do you think it makes any difference at all?
I don't. I mean, I think, the chances of, really on both sides of this issue, the people that are on the extreme sides, will cite certain circumstances that support their view, but the fact is those circumstances are pretty slim that they would ever occur. So, I think it's, it's the law, and we'll follow the law, but as whether the campus is more safe or less safe, at this point in time, I don't think there's evidence to prove either way.
I think it was KMAC 28 that did an interview with you, and where you alluded to ongoing litigation that's out there. I think that there are going to be a ton of lawsuits around campus carry because nobody knows exactly what's defined, where people can carry. It's not as defined as I think it should be in the law. Do you anticipate there being litigation, a lot of litigation involving campus carry?
Well, I think there's a few issues where there will definitely be litigation. Now, beyond that, I don't know. There'll probably be an injunction sought against the implementation of Senate Bill 1 altogether, and I don't know what the basis of that would be, but there's been some talk of that. But there's really only a few issues that I think will be litigated because it's not clear in the law, and some institutions have taken different approaches to it. So beyond that, I don't think there will necessarily be litigation against the rules that we've adopted because I think we feel like we're on pretty good legal standing. But there are some other institutions that have done some things that might be litigated.
Has there been, as far as you know, any discussion at Texas Tech about challenging SB 11?
No, not at Texas Tech. I think there's a statewide faculty association that's had some discussions about that. That's the only ones I've heard.
Visiting with Texas Tech Interim President John Opperman. We appreciate your time today and hope everything continues to go well over at Texas Tech.
Appreciate that, Chad. You'll have a good day.
You too. That's Texas Tech Interim President John Opperman. Very interesting that I had not heard that deal about the band of professors that statewide that are wanting to maybe seek an injunction. Good luck with that.